Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Annette J. Morris, the CEO and owner of Goal Getter LLC. Y'all know it's our vision at Goal Getter LLC to help women to identify their divine God-given gifts and take that gift, convert it into a 5 to 7 figure income generating business that supports their lives and their legacies. Also, I'm your host for the Mind TV series. Y'all know the mind is moving in new directions. And every week I bring y'all a bomb entrepreneur that's going to tell you about their entrepreneurship journey, how they got it started, and how it has helped move their lives in new directions. So this week, it's nothing different. I got my girl sitting here with me. Y'all know I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to let her tell y'all who she is and what she does. So take it away, Jamie B.
Hello guys, so I am Jamie B. I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm a full-time entrepreneur, but I'm also a full-time hairstylist. I own a hair salon in Gretna, Louisiana, and I'm a full-time mommy.
Yes. So how did you get started with doing hair, Jamie?
It's always been in me. It's been in me for a while. So growing up, of course, everybody have a backstory, but growing up, I used to do my sister's hair.
Okay.
And so I found like a passion for it, but I didn't really get serious into doing hair and quitting my jobs and stuff like that until maybe 9 years ago.
Okay.
So when I was actually pregnant with my youngest son, who was 9, I lost my job at Auctioner.
Okay.
They actually fired me while I was on maternity leave.
Well, thank you, Ashna, because you pushed her right into her purpose. Thank you.
So they fired me while I was on maternity leave, and I'm like, okay, I'm 9 months pregnant, about to have a baby. What am I going to do? So it brought me back to my passion, which is hair, of course. And from the moment I had my son, I never worked another 9 to 5 or corporate or anything like that. I just became a full-time entrepreneur in the hair game.
Okay. So you, at one time, were you doing hair in somebody else's salon, and then that led you to open your own salon? Like, how did that come about?
No, I actually moved to Cali.
Okay.
After I had my younger son, we moved to Cali.
Okay.
And I went to cosmetology school out there. So I still had my clientele base here in New Orleans from doing hair at home.
Okay.
So I would rent a chair every time. So I would come home once a month on a weekend. And I would rent a chair from someone who used to do my hair inside of her salon. So I would just do the rent a chair thing. And then when I decided to move back to New Orleans, I opened up a suite. And then I was there for maybe 10 months, and I'm like, I outgrew it really fast. And my ambition or my vision for what I wanted, it wasn't a small suite. So I opened up a salon.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, I just opened up a salon. I mean, it just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So most people, so like you say, most people have a backstory or whatever, right? Entrepreneurs, one thing that I realized, like, we've been entrepreneurs at heart since we were little, right? And so I can remember, like, when I was a teenager, I used to do hair in the kitchen, right? I like doing hair. I never loved doing hair. So that's the difference between you and me. Like, I knew how to do it.
You definitely have to have a passion for it.
Correct,
If you're going to make it out of a career, I tell, because I'm a mentor as well. So I tell my mentees or people who look up to me, who just doing it as a side hustle, you're never going to be successful.
Correct.
If you don't love it, absolutely love it, you're not going to be successful in the hair game.
So even like little, I can remember, like, I was making barrettes. You know how they one time they hit the little name barrettes? I'm telling my age right now. The barrettes with your name on it. I was making them, selling them. I was doing hair in the kitchen, like all kind of things, like hustle, just hustles or whatever, right? So innately, like she said, she been doing hair since she was little. Most entrepreneurs start out selling something, whether it's a product or selling nachos at school, whatever it is. Like, we start young, and then we just kind of evolve into being full-time entrepreneurs, all of those other things or whatever, right? So what are some of the other things that you do besides doing hair? Because Jamie is, when she say a serial entrepreneur, y'all know what a serial entrepreneur is? Somebody that's gonna always be a boss, right? They're gonna do this, they're gonna do whatever it is, right? And it could all align with your passion. Now listen, y'all know I've said on several occasions, like, when I talk about multiple streams of income, I'm not necessarily talking about multiple businesses, right? Like you can have, like, this is my one business and I have 10, 12 streams of income with this one business or whatever, right? But if you have one business that's sustaining itself, then you can have a separate business, right? So it can mean more than one business, but it doesn't necessarily have to. Talk about some of the other business ventures that you have.
Okay, so I am an event curator, and what that looks like is I'm someone who is a big advocate. I am a huge advocate for small Black businesses. So I put together networking events maybe 2 to 3 times a year, centered around the small Black business community. I have my own wine line.
That's what I wanted her to tell y'all about.
So I have a wine collection, and it's 14% alcohol inside of the wine, and I carry 3 main flavors. We have 5, but I have 3 best-selling flavors, so I kind of stick to those, which is Sweet Red, Moscato, and White Zinfandel. Also, what else? I have my own hairline, product line, and I have 2 different phases of my hair care product line. So I have a line that's strictly guided towards natural curly hair, and I have a silk press line. So I specialize in silk press. So I have a shampoo, conditioner, heat protectant strictly for silk press. And I have a travel company. So I have a black a Black travel club.
We love traveling too. Yes. Okay, yes.
And I think that it was something that was needed. A lot of times we as entrepreneurs, we have different circle of friends, right? So we have the friends that like to travel, we have the friends that like to travel but can't afford to travel. So sometimes we neglect our own wishes to travel because we're waiting on our friends to be able to go with us. So I'm like, I'm tired of waiting on people. So
yes.
I'm gonna just start a travel club.
Yeah.
And so I have my travel club, and I think I'm not missing anything. I'm working back on my event hall. I owned an event hall, but that was lost during Ida. So I'm gearing back towards looking for a space for my event hall.
Okay. So yeah, as you can see, Jamie has a whole lot going on, right? And I absolutely love it, right? Because especially seeing her when she started the wine line, because that's not anything that's common amongst us as a people, right? So what made you want to start that?
It was during the pandemic.
Okay.
And they had the state had made it mandatory that all of the salons shut down.
Okay.
So they closed out the salon, and I needed something. And so I found myself drinking wine every day. Not that I was depressed, but I just was isolated. And I saw like other people, because the first part of the pandemic, you seen everybody started going live.
Correct.
So because nobody had anything to do.
Right.
So I noticed that while the women were going live, they were like pouring wine and drinking wine, and I'm like,
They're gonna show you an entrepreneur. Like, we gonna find an opportunity no matter what.
And I noticed the big brands that everybody, it's like a wave thing. So if I see everybody like Stella Rosa and stuff like that, I'm like, but I probably can make something better, because I'm a fan of Stella Rosa, but it wasn't strong enough for me.
Right.
So I'm like, when I come out with my wine line, I wanted to have the taste of Stella Rosa, but I wanted to be stronger than Stella Rosa, and I succeeded.
Because that's the same, like I started doing the sea moss. So I had like the regular sea moss, the flavored sea moss, I was like, oh, this is a big thing. Like, people really on this sea moss for the So like one of my clients, she was like, oh my God, you're gonna figure out how to make money even in a pandemic. I was like, because you still have to survive. Like, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, right? So it's not like, okay, I work at Walmart during the day, but I do this on the side hustle. No, like, I do this full time. And I was out, coaching and everything or whatever. So I had to like my in-person clients or whatever, I had to cancel all of them because we can't sit next to each other, right? So like my other clients that were nationwide, that were in different states or whatever, we were still fine because we always did Zoom.
Right.
So but my clients that's used to sitting next to me, they're like, oh, what we gonna do? Because I'd rather sit with you and and this, that, or whatever, right? So like transitioning them or whatever, and then I still got to find other things to do with my time because, some things I was doing in person had to cancel all of that. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna fill this with something that the people need. Like,
when something is in demand, you have to supply it.
Yeah, absolutely. Supply and demand. Duh, that's how it works. So what type of freedom, because see, I always talk about the freedom that entrepreneurship gives us, right? So I can think back to when I was working full-time or whatever. I'm working 9 to 5. Once, like my last couple of jobs, I was in supervisory and managerial positions or whatever, right? So even they extended beyond 9 to 5. Like I would go in the office from 9 to 5, but I found myself at home working, and like even all of my Sundays were taken care of because I had to, make sure my staff was putting in their. I was over a social service agency, right? So I had to make sure my staff was putting in their service logs, service documentation. I had to read all the documentation to make sure, like, it was correct and this is that or whatever. I send it back to them for correction. So that took up like my whole Sunday. I would go to church, cook, make sure my children was good, and then sit down the rest of the Sunday reading service documentation and service logs. And then Monday I got to do billing and all this other stuff or whatever, right? So it really like took over my life. And I didn't have any freedom. No. So it extended beyond a 9 to 5. Whereas when I went to entrepreneurship, I can remember saying like, I want to have my own business and be my own boss so I can have like the freedom and flexibility that comes with entrepreneurship, right? So then what does that look like for you? You know what I mean? Like you have multiple businesses or whatever, which is great. But like, how does entrepreneurship allow you to leverage your time to be able to do what you want to do with your kids and all of these other things?
So I can say, first of all, it brings a sort of mental freedom because even though like when you're on a job, you're held to a certain standard, even in entrepreneurship, but you create that standard.
Correct.
You create that illusion of what the standard needs to look like. So it first and foremost, it created like a mental freedom for me. So when we work 9 to 5s, a lot of times we go home with the baggage of work, and we're thinking about, did I do this correctly, or did I lock up, or whatever. Or you're thinking about all of the things that the supervisor or the manager or the CEO or the boss expected you to do, and maybe you just didn't do it right. So you carry that mental baggage home. So it gave me a sense of mental freedom and peace first and foremost, because when you become an entrepreneur, you create all of the rules, all of the guidelines, all of the boundaries, so you know for sure what your standards are, and you're going to hold yourself accountable. But you also know if you're the one doing most of the work, if you don't have a team yet. But like me, I'm a hairstylist, so I don't have an assistant because I'm 100% hands-on. I don't want nobody else washing my client. I want to be the one to wash my client. But it created this mental peace for me because I know that I'm doing things correctly up to my standards and not someone else's. And so then a physical freedom would be me creating my own schedule.
Correct.
So it's not like I'm waiting for the schedule to come out and hoping that
and then I can schedule my own life around it.
So waiting for the schedule to come out, hoping that I'm off on this and that day, or waiting for vacation days to be approved and things like that. So just being able to create my own schedule, it was a big load out for me. I have a son who's an athlete, and so I would miss games, football practice, and I'm like the mom who want to sit at practice. Like I want to show up to practice. I want to have my cute little chair and my umbrella and sit out at football practice. And when I became an entrepreneur, I was able to really schedule my life around my work schedule and not it be the opposite way around, where you schedule your life, or you have to wait for the schedule to come out and then schedule your whole life around that. So it definitely it opened up a lot of free time for me.
So, and then one of the things, so I know that I've worked with quite a few entrepreneurs that are transitioning from full-time employment to full-time entrepreneurship. And one of the things that they typically ask me, like, how do you make sure like your days are the most productive, those type of things or whatever. So what would be your answer to that? And then I'm gonna give my answer to it, what I tell my people.
How would I make my days most productive? If I'm off or if I'm at work?
Either way.
I think having a routine really helps create structure inside of your business. You have to have a routine. And so the good thing about me being a hairstylist is that I already know how many people I have for the week or the next couple days at least. So it helps me maintain my routine. But even if I'm off, I've already maybe the day before, I've already planned out my next move or my next day or my routine for the next day. So being productive, sometimes being productive for me is taking a nap.
That right there. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes because you're restless sometimes. Mm-hmm. So being an entrepreneur, does create freedom, but it is still a job. Mm-hmm. It's still a lot to do. Mm-hmm. So you still have to create a system and a schedule that works for you. Mm-hmm. But being productive is just really having a well-balanced routine. And sometimes that seems impossible until you're in it and you're like, I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
Like everything that I was supposed to do today, it aligned, it happened. And then you have the days where you feel less productive because maybe you didn't get to everything that was on your to-do list. Mm-hmm. And for every entrepreneur out there, I'll tell you, like, don't feel bad about that. Mm-hmm. We create to-do lists and we create all of the things that's needed or necessary or all the errands that we have to run. But if you did 50% of that, you were productive.
Yeah. Pat yourself on the back.
Because to get it all done sometimes is impossible because life happens in the middle of your day, mm-hmm. and that's where we have to create boundaries. Because I found myself being an empathetic person. Mm-hmm. So if I say I'm off today, mm-hmm. and we know this happens to all of us. Mm-hmm. If I say I'm off today and I say today I'm going to the nail shop, I'm going to get a massage, and I'm not doing nothing else. And then, like, on your way to get a massage, you have somebody call you, like, hey, my car broke down. Can you stop and pick me up? And then it throws off your whole entire schedule. Mm-hmm. And I've learned to say no, like, get an Uber.
Yeah. Boundaries. That's exactly.
Healthy
boundaries. Yes, like, absolutely. Because it's not your responsibility to take on the responsibilities of everybody. Yeah. And sometimes, like she said, I'm glad she said that, like, sometimes being productive is taking a nap. Sometimes being productive is doing absolutely nothing. Right?
Resting your mind.
Yeah, because we feel like we have to fill in every space of our day. Like, I got to fill in every minute of it. No, that's not, like, that's the equation for burnout. Like, if you feel like you got to fill in every minute of your day doing something, that is definitely a recipe for catastrophe. I promise you that. Like, sometimes your body needs to just do absolutely nothing and allow yourself to recalibrate, right? But one of the things that I tell, like, my clients, like, you need to make sure you have structure in your days to feel the most productive. Now, granted, some days you're going to be totally off that particular schedule, right? So, like, Monday, I had my best planned day because in my mind, I said, okay, I'm going to go to jury duty. I'm assuming they're going to keep me there from like 8 to 12. I'm assuming I'm going to be here from like 8 to 12. So then, bam, after I get from jury duty, I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to do this for 2 hours. I'm going to do this. And I went to jury duty and got selected. Because, see, selected wasn't in my mind, right? That wasn't part of the deal. Like, okay, I just had to show up, and it was gonna be like, oh, okay, come back in a month, blah blah. So that's how it was playing out in my mind, Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, so it's gonna probably take them about 12 noon to tell me to come back. I gotta come back in 2 months or whatever. So I'm gonna be able to do blah blah blah. And when I got there, I got selected. I was like, wait, hold up, Judge. This wasn't how it was in my mind. You got to find somebody else to do this. Okay, this wasn't the plan. I didn't have you on the schedule for today, Judge. Like, this is supposed to happen in 2 months. So, whatever. And the judge was like, going over there in the box with the other 12 people, so because it's you and the extra, right? So it's 13 people. So going back over there with the other 12 people, and I ended up being there till like after 5. For them to tell me, oh yeah, you didn't get selected today, come back in the morning. I was what? You definitely ain't on my calendar for tomorrow. Like, what do you mean come back for 9 o'clock tomorrow? And then I'm there the whole day Tuesday too. So I was like, that wasn't the plan. But again, we know the best made plans sometimes don't go according to plan. No. So then you just have to kind of do a workaround, right? Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like I tell my clients, like, structure your days the same way you would like when you were employed, right?
Yeah.
You already knew if you were employed, you got that schedule. Right. You on a schedule from 8 to 5, 9 to 5. Schedule your days the same way you would when you were working for the man, when you working for yourself, right? What activities do I need to do on Mondays? So already every Monday, my calendar is blocked off from 8 to 1, and it's called Marketing Monday. So those are the days I use to like create content, batch out reels, create courses, create videos, do my YouTube video, whatever it is, right? That needs to be in marketing, that needs to be done for that particular week or that month, whatever it is, that's the time that I'm gonna get that done in, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are my coaching days. So anybody that I'm coaching gonna get in on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Fridays on my calendars are marked off as off days, right? It's not, I don't necessarily take it off, but those are the days that I do anything else that I don't do during the week on a normal basis, right? So if anything pop up, I'm gonna put it on a Friday. Anything else that come out of, that's out of alignment with whatever else is going on, I'm gonna do it on a Friday. So even like researching grant opportunities or researching contract opportunities, all these things happen on Fridays, right? So you want to structure your days so that you are getting the most done. And even in like time blocking, I believe in time blocking. So okay, I know this task gonna take me 2 hours, so I'm gonna do that from 9 to 1. And then I'm gonna take me a 15-minute break. And then after that, from 1:15 or 1:30 to 3 o'clock or whatever, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z or whatever. So I try to time block my days. On the days that I'm cooking, I'm gonna schedule that too. So I'm gonna prepare this meal. This take me about 60 minutes to prepare this meal. And then I know I'm gonna be cooking from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, I'm gonna tie up some loose ends or whatever, and then go on to the next day or whatever, right? But you get the most productivity out your days when you have like structure in your days, so that you're not all over the place. Like people like Jamie that has multiple businesses, you have to figure out like, when am I gonna squeeze all of these things in, right? When I'm a promo, like for her, when I'm a promo for the wine company. Okay, I know I have hair clients these particular days at this particular time. I gotta squeeze promo time in for X, Y, Z. Now I know I got an event that I'm planning on this or whatever. So what part do I have to do with that? What part can I delegate to the travel agent? What part can I delegate to whatever it is, right? So you have to have structure in your days to be like the most productive. But again, if napping is required, like your body is gonna tell you, your soul is gonna tell you what we need to do right now, right? Do we need to work or do we need to rest?
It's either gonna happen voluntarily
or involuntarily, because your body is gonna get its rest. Now you don't want it to shut down on you, because when it shut down, it's gonna get more rest than you want it to get. So go ahead and shut down and give your body the rest that it needs. What other encouragement would you give for like entrepreneurs that definitely are moms? Like, how do you balance momming, entrepreneurship, whatever? Give them some tips on how to balance the two.
Prioritize. That's the biggest thing for me. Like my kids, my house always come first. So, and that comes with communicating with your kids. So what do you have that you need me at for this week? What's your schedule looking like? And so that's what I do with my children. We know each other's schedule. And I have considerate kids. Like sometimes I want to be at everything. So my oldest son, sometimes he'll say, but you don't have to come today, Mom. And I'm like, I'm coming. And he'll be like, but if it interferes with your schedule, you don't have to come. And I'm like, I'm coming.
Right. Yeah.
But so just having real healthy conversation with your children so that you guys can be on the same page. And so for the entrepreneurs out there, communication is key in everything, even inside of your household. And I know sometimes when we get home, we work 10 to 14 hours and you don't want to see them kids. I fully understand. Sometimes you walk straight past them like, hey,
see y'all later. I'm going to get a bed.
But I found that still making space for them even after work, even after I'm dog tired, like just asking them about their day and what's the schedule, and so that I can always try to be available. Because I want to be a hands-on mom. Like I want to be there. I don't want to miss anything that they deemed as important, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up, and it was a lot of activities or award ceremonies or things that no one showed up for me.
So and you know what that felt like.
I don't want that to be for them. So for some encouragement for the entrepreneurs out there, the ones who are especially mothers, create a safe space for you and your kids to have open dialogue. And sometimes we need to just sit our kids down and allow them to tell us how they feel about us. So I had a situation where we had a tragedy in our family and we lost my nephew. And so it brought me to the center of my kids. Like, well, I had to ask my son, and he was 12 at the time and now he's 16. I said, you think I work too much? And he gave me a look. And I was like, you're not going to be in trouble.
Right. Just tell me your honest opinion.
And I was like, you think I work too much? And he said, absolutely. And I said, well, what does not working too much look like for you? And he was like, and now at this time, I was doing hair Monday through Saturday. So I had started going back to work on Mondays. And he said, well, maybe if you just home like 2 days, when we get here, you're already here in the house. Like, we're not waiting for you to get home.
Correct.
He was like, maybe we can cook together on those 2 days. And so I moved my whole schedule around. After we had that conversation, I also had a conversation with him after that about, I just asked him the hard question. I said, do you think I'm a good mom? And he gave me the look again, and I was like, "You're not in trouble. Like,
right.
Whatever you say,
yeah.
We're gonna
because
grow,
I need to,
we're gonna grow from
something.
this moment." I said, "Because I'm not perfect. You're not the perfect child. I'm not the perfect mom. So I had my kid at 16. So I felt like my whole childhood was snatched away from me. I couldn't blame him for that.
Correct.
So it's just, and now he's 16. So we literally grew up together. And so it's okay to have these type of conversations and be ready for the backlash that they're going to give you, because if you listen, they'll tell you.
Right.
Whether it's verbally or through their actions, a kid will show you how they feel.
Correct.
And so just having it has to be a constant conversation with your kids about how they feel about you and your parenting. So for the entrepreneurs out there, I just encourage you to always give your kids a safe space to talk and communicate with you, especially how they feel about you, how they feel about your job, how they feel about your absences that you're not at. And not take it personal.
Correct.
Just take it as a growing moment, a learning moment, and be open to their feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is, as entrepreneurs, we are in complete control of our schedules, right? So you can reconfigure it. You can, because I mean, at this point, you can be like, oh, my boss won't let me off. You the boss. Control your schedule, right? Take control of it. Consider what has to factor in. Yeah.
That can't go like that.
Yeah, I mean, it can't do it like all the time. Like, it's compromising.
Because my kids have that stuck in their head.
Yeah.
Like, last minute stuff, they'll be like, but you make your own schedule. And I'm like, no, but I already have 5 clients.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, I've told my son that, like, listen.
I'm not canceling on my clients because you failed to tell me about something ahead of time.
Right, yeah.
So a lot of time kids, they see entrepreneurship as mama can get off whenever she wants to. I told my son
that, throughout the years, like, no, this is, you have to tell me in advance, and then I can reconfigure my schedule around it. But you can't tell me the day before. Oh yeah, I was like, that's not how that works. No. That's not how that works.
Because you've been new.
Yeah. You just springing it on me.
Just telling me.
Then no, you can't go.
Yeah, no, it's a no.
And when he realized he sacrificed a couple of occasions of things that he wanted to do, then he started.
They got better at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that comes with communication.
And that teaches them accountability as well.
Yes,
and responsibility. So, absolutely. So, Jamie, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on the couch today and telling the people how entrepreneurship has moved your life in new directions, especially as mamahood, right? Because we are talking about moms on the move this month. This is Mother's Day month. So, tell the people how they can stay following you, stay connected to you, join the travel club next year, because y'all missed your opportunity this year. Next year, better luck for you, okay? Tell the people how they can follow you and where they can find you at.
So I am on Instagram at JAMIIE.BEE. That's Jamie B. Also, Facebook is just Jamie B. And pretty much that's how you can reach me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram more than I'm on Facebook. I don't know how to really work Facebook. But I am an Instagram guru. So, and I answer DMs. I'm not that girl who just leave you on red and leave you sitting in a DM. So I answer back. I talk back to people. I talk to strangers. I'm always answering questions because I am an active entrepreneur and I don't want to miss out. When you're a hustler at heart, you don't want to miss out on a dollar. So I answer DMs. So you guys can reach me on Instagram and connect with me. Stay connected with me on Instagram.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Jamie B. Thank y'all for joining us this week. Y'all know we're going to be back next week, same time, same place, same bad station, bringing y'all another bomb entrepreneur that's going to tell you how entrepreneurship has moved their lives in new directions. So until this time next week, see y'all later.
See y'all. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Welcome to Go Getter University. It's the home and a one-stop for entrepreneurs teaching all things entrepreneurship. We have courses ranging from how to start a business, how to start a nonprofit organization, to how to generate your first 10K consistent months, on to grant writing. Anything that you want to learn about entrepreneurship, it is in Go Getter University. Follow us at www.goalgetteruniversity.com to register.